Bear with me. Our president isn't here today. His daughter is receiving a scholarship in Tucson, so I'm going to pinch hit as the chair today. If you'll go ahead and stand, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item is a roll call. Betsy?
Yeah, Mr. Interim President, Mr. Chair, this evening I'd like to request that before we formally proceed with the active meeting agenda, that we begin with the public hearing that's required in order for the board to do its due diligence and duty this evening in terms of the revised budget.
Certainly. Do we need a motion to do that?
No, we can just dive right into the hearing.
Okay.
Lizette?
Thank you so much. Good evening, Interim President, members of the board, district administration, and community. Tonight we have the fiscal year 2026 revised budget. And so just to go into a little bit of background, we adopt the budget in July. And so remember, in July, there's still an encumbrance period. And during that encumbrance period, we still have things that haven't been fulfilled, paid for until the end of August. And so at that time, we we have a proposal in June and we adopt the budget in July. And at that point, again, not all expenses are paid. So we did take a conservative approach to our budget, like we do every year. And we get to revise at this time in May, we get to revise our budget. And therefore, we start with our maintenance and operation. We start with our RCL, which is referred to as our revenue control limit. And that increased of $2 million for a total of $44,934,438. We also get to adjust our M&O budget. And again, I can't say this enough, and I'm with gratitude to all of our community in regards to our maintenance and operation override. This is a huge impact to our budget. And so again, I just want to take the time to thank our community for their continued support of our override. So we get to add the override, which are targeted programs. We have one-time state aid and one-time free and reduced supplement that we were able to add to our budget this year. In addition, we have our transfer of our energy and water savings that is consistent, and it follows our schedule for payment. So with that, then we get to look at our carry forward. And when we look at our carry forward, again, we get to, once our fiscal year is confirmed, and normally that's confirmed in October of every fiscal year, because we complete our budget expenditures for the prior year. So because of that, all of this information and all of the revised budget includes our confirmed carry forward. So with that, our budget limit is $70,437,668. Do you have any questions in regards to the maintenance and operation? Next, I'll go on to our district additional assistance, which is referred to as our DAA, and this is for things, their capital needs. So this would be renovations or capital items such as furniture, equipment, technology, and things of that nature. And in this budget, you'll see that there was an adjustment for prior year ADM. We'll take it. So we're able to capture that in our budget. Additionally, again, it goes without saying, again, our capital override, we're very fortunate in our district to have a capital override. That is a flat amount of $1 million. And we get to add that. There was no change from our adopted to our revised budget. This year, we were able to add one-time DAA supplement from the state. At this time of year, we always add our interest from prior year as well. And so that's also indicated in our budget. Additionally, our carry forward from prior year is also included. Again, we've confirmed all of our expenditures for prior year, and we're able to bring that over. I would like to mention that it's important to note that at this time of year, we do encumber a lot of funds for things that we have to do in the summer. I'll give you some examples. This year we have HVAC, a big HVAC project at Sahuarita High School that we're starting, but the end project won't actually finish until the end of the summer, which is in the new fiscal year. And so we have to encumber those funds at this time so that we can start those projects. There are things like HVAC, buses, repairs and maintenance throughout the district. And this year it's a total about $2 million. So we're very fortunate to be able to use our carry forward money from prior years so that we can start our projects in the summer in time for our new year. So I know it's a lot of information, but I think that's very important to note. That's why we're adding about $2 million from last year into our carry forward. Again, those are for projects that are completed in this fiscal year. So I will be recommending a revised budget for our DAA of $9,494,824. And with that, I will, that concludes my presentation. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
The only comments I'd make about it is, once again, we're very blessed and fortunate here that with a tremendous amount of professionalism, intentionality, and resolve, the budget's healthy and sound. I'm pleased to report to the board as representatives of the taxpayers and of our community, but it's through only intentionality of managing the existing resources in a very resourceful, methodical way, and through the efforts of our community, our staff, our people, the properties and the facilities that we have, and the high quality programs that we're going to talk about and hear more about this evening, about how we have people who elevate the level of our programs at the highest level through our community collaborative efforts. So I'm very proud of this. When you look around at the headwinds facing public education right now, that kind of a revised budget report is something that we can all take great pride in. So thank you, Lizette.
Thank you very much.
Comment, if that's okay. I don't know if I'm on here. Reiterate what Dr. V said, thank you to everyone who's had a piece in this, because we've seen so many different articles in the news and it's very, very scary. So I just thank everyone and just very fortunate. Thank you.
You may proceed at your desire into the regular part of the meeting, Mr. Bruno.
Okay, we'll start with a roll call.
Governing Board President, Dr. John Sparks, absent. Governing Board Clerk, Mr. Anthony Bruno.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mrs. Amy Petersmark.
Present?
Governing Board Member, Mrs. Denise Reese.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Raul Rodriguez.
Present.
District Administration Superintendent, Dr. Manuel Valenzuela.
Present.
Chief Financial Officer, Mrs. Lisette Huey.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Darlene Robinson.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Scott Downs.
Here. Our next item on the agenda is approval of the agendas. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bruno, members of the board and public, this evening I'd recommend approval of the agenda as it was revised.
You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Dr. Valenzuela.
Thank
Old
you.
habits are hard to
I
break.
understand that.
He's here
I
with us.
understand.
There
He's,
you go.
yeah, he's with us in spirit. Yes, at this time, I would recommend the minutes from, the draft minutes, I should say, from the regularly scheduled meeting of the board back on April 22nd, 2026.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is superintendent reports. Dr. Valenzuela.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno, members of the board. Believe it or not, you ever have those times of the year where there is absolutely so much going on that it kind of feels like nothing or like a blur? Seriously, I just wanted to highlight a few things because there is, as you can hear in the sounds all around us, there is so much going on, and it's really amazing to celebrate the accomplishments and the success of our students. That's why I love this time of year. It's kind of the capstone. I wanted to share a couple photos in one of the items that we're going to have a little bit later on. We're going to talk about promises made, promises kept, honoring the trust of the community. We talk about that as something that we take with great seriousness. I just wanted to give you a visual rendition of some of the projects that you'll be asked to approve in one of the GMPs. This is part of the 2023 bond projects or 2022 bond projects. But one of the commitments we made to the community is that we're going to benefit all of the schools. And this is an example. I think these are projects that are going to benefit SPS, SIS, Link, Anza, and SOPRI. So really excited. I'm envisioning August when students come back to school and they have kind of like Christmas in August, you know, these new things to look forward to. Recently, I had the opportunity to attend a very special event. The gentleman in the upper right there, who would have been 101 years old last Friday, Mr. Porter Wilson. He's already in our Hall of Fame, by the way, but this man is truly the picture of legendary. I heard of him when I came to Sahuarita. He's one of the first names I heard about this legendary teacher, Mr. Porter Wilson, who seized a very tragic event when somebody drowned in our community and made it his mission to teach every single student how to swim. More recently, I've learned that if you Google or you put onto ChatGPT, flag football, father of flag football, that name will come up. And when you think about the worldwide appeal of flag football, how it's up for being an Olympic sport in 2028 here in Los Angeles, it's pretty amazing that something like that has roots and origins right here in Sahuarita. So through the efforts of our good friend, Mary Chernowski, affectionately known as MAC, and the Santa Cruz Valley Historical Society, they worked and they brought in all kinds of people. Tim Kish was here, who was the former football coach at U of A. The lady on the right, I remember her name is Diane. And she is like the president of the International Women's Football League. And so we honored him. And you can see on your way out of the auditorium that tribute to Mr. Porter Wilson. And again, just another example of a Sahuarita person who lived a real special legacy and leaves a great legacy for all of us. Other than that, I would just say end of year activities. You hear, I think it's the Walden Grove scholarship honors. I think we're on track to break another record based on the accomplishments and the achievements of our amazing students and through the efforts of our dedicated faculty and staff. We still got some concerts. Spring sports have ended with multiple playoff appearances, I might add. We're preparing for, as was mentioned, a busy summer of Bond Project Scott's. Probably going to be living in a blur between new performing arts centers and new cafeterias and new playground equipment, new courtyard enhancements. But we're always trying hard to honor that trust of our community. Summer school, we've all heard the high school summer school program is, we're doing a monitor and adjust going back to Walden because we'll be doing major chiller renovations on that system. So, and of course, we're looking forward to next week, which is the culmination of the year, headlined by the multiple high school graduations. We now will have 3. SDPA will have their own on Tuesday, Sahuarita High, as is traditional, on Wednesday night, and of course, also traditional Walden on Thursday night. So may we all have a very festive and celebratory and safe event. And with that, Mr. Boone, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
And I will say that I look forward to next week. It's always an exciting week for the board members. It's sort of our payback for the work we do.
Can I just ask you, just because I'm curious, I know we kind of, in friendly jest, we kind of talk about that you're kind of our historian. Did Mr. Wilson, did he teach you, were you in his class or anything like that?
I will tell you, I was afraid of the man because he had a stature that was a force to be reckoned with. And if he had things to say to you, you knew to move out of his way. But I did learn to swim from him also.
There you go.
So,
there's a legacy. Thank you, Mr. Boone.
the next item is governing reports, and I'll start with Ms. Reese, and we'll move down the line.
Perfect. So in addition to all of the happenings at the schools next week, we've also had a whole slew of awards banquets and things like that. So if you have students that are participating in sports, music, dance, Kind of anything. Most of those awards, assemblies, and banquets are taking place, and if you get a chance to pop into some of those have been really neat. Last night at SHS was the music banquet, the track banquet, and the jockeys banquet, all on campus. The leaders of subsequent groups were giggling just a little bit about, like, let's see how many back and forths we can end up with and things like that. So we all had each other's backs. We were sharing plates and a few other things between the different groups. But definitely it is one of the ways that our students get to shine. So if you have an opportunity to attend one of those, please do so. It means a lot to the kids to have their families and their teachers and everybody else in the audience. So, but yeah, if you get a chance to attend any of those events, they definitely like having a little bit of a way for them to sort of puff out their chest and shine just a little bit. So, thank you.
Thank you. Just want to express the same sentiment that's already been expressed here with next week. I've cleared my schedule. I look forward to going to the graduation. I'm fortunate to say that I know quite a few students that will be graduating, and I look forward to celebrating that with them.
Thank you. Again, just reiterating what everybody's been saying, this is such a fun time of year. It's so exciting. And we have just such a cool community. I mean, everything Dr. V said, like what you said, Tony, like just incredible people live here. And it's such a small community, so it just makes it even more amazing. In addition to what Denise was saying, we've had this past week, I haven't even write it down because we've had so many things going on. So National Teachers Appreciation Day, we had Nurses Appreciation Day, School Health Assistants Appreciation Day, Dr. Sparks' birthday, we were gonna wish him happy birthday, he's not here. So a whole bunch of great things going on. And thank you to everybody that you guys are superheroes. We love all of you. What would we do without teachers and nurses and everyone, just in our whole community to make everything work, as we've been talking about. So Monday night at Walden was the senior awards night, and it was a great night, a lot of fun. Like Ms. Reese said, that you could just see the kids beaming their faces and just kind of get you a little choked up because, you know, this is the beginning of the end for them. So it's lots of fun. They were just having a great time. So that was super fun. Scholarships going on tonight. I think tomorrow is SHS scholarship night. And we chatted last meeting that, you know, depending on the year, only 7 to 12% of kids get any type of scholarship and only 1% get a full ride. So for us to have such a huge amount of scholarships for this school district is very impressive. It's just amazing. So if you can join in any of those activities, they're still going on. Of course, graduation's next week. And don't forget, Walden parents and kiddos, don't forget about grad night. I know a lot of kids kind of want to show up at the last minute, but if you could encourage them to buy their tickets soon, that would be great. We're super excited to have that still going on at the school to keep them safe. So thank you to everybody. Looking forward to next week, seeing everybody. So thank you.
I'm just going to repeat that I'm looking forward to next week. I had the opportunity to attend a few functions. There are so many going on around the district that it's hard to pick and choose sometimes where you want to show up. I did attend an event at the Sopry School with all the little kids running around, and I was again reminded of my age in the district. When they brought up their old class pictures from 1960 and proceeded to point me out.
They found a yearbook?
Was it in color?
You don't want me to answer that. And so some of the parents and grandparents that I went to school with managed to pull some pictures out as well. And we all shared pictures on the campus with the kids. So there are impromptu things that happen as well.
That's pretty special.
It was cool. So we're going to move on down to recognition of community staff and students. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bruno. You know, generally by this meeting, we've largely wrapped up a lot of the recognitions, which are such an integral part of our public meetings. But this year we happen to have one special presentation, so I'd punt the ball over to Mr. Downs, who's going to do the honors as he usually does.
Yes, and this would be our volunteer of the year from different schools, and we are honoring somebody from Sahuarita Intermediate School tonight. So it is to read the nomination and the selection of the Volunteer of the Year for Sahuarita Intermediate School, Miss Alexis Carlson. Alexis. And then, check. Alexis has been community over the past 3 years. Most notably, most recently serving as SIS PTP president. In that role, she has brought so much energy and dedication to everything that she does. She has helped organize a wide range of fundraisers like Penny Wars, Make Your Money Count, the Arby's fundraiser, and the Holiday Shop that have been both successful and fun for the entire school community. She has also played a big role in coordinating the joint SIS-SPS carnivals in both the fall and the spring. These events are always a highlight of the year, and her efforts help make them such a great experience for students, family, and staff. Through her work as the PTP president, Alexis has built strong positive relationships with staff and the SIS Student Council, always bringing people together and encouraging collaboration. She also goes out of her way to support and appreciate staff by providing thoughtful treats throughout the year, which truly helps boost morale and create a welcoming environment. What really makes Alexis stand out is how much she genuinely cares. She is reliable, proactive, and always willing to step in wherever she's needed. She doesn't just get things done, she makes the whole community feel supported and valued. Her positivity and commitment have made a lasting impact, and it is truly deserving of this recognition. Again, the Volunteer of the Year for SIS, Miss Alexis Carlson.
Thank you for making a difference. We're all learning tonight.
Thank you, Alexis. The next item is call to the public, and I don't believe we have any. So we'll move down to new business. Sahuarita Educational Enrichment Foundation. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bruno, thank you. You know, I think it's fitting that this evening you kind of inadvertently slipped the name of Dr. St. John into your comments from your previous era as a board member, because I know that we're here to say thank you and to look at the amazing impact that's being made by the Sahuarita Educational Enrichment Foundation, or SEEF, because I know, because I remember, that both you and Dr. St. John were pioneers, were founding members of the foundation from when it was first hatched.
Yep.
And this, when I will confess that when I saw these beautiful slides and all the pictures, and I thought of all the programs, all the kids, and all the many ways that this organization and these grants are making an amazing impact through our people, I thought, oh my goodness, how long is it going to take us to get through 47 slides? But I know Sarah, being a master teacher and a master task analyzer, will get us through in a very highly effective and efficient way. So with that, Sarah, you're on.
Whoops, and good evening. My name's Judy White. I'm one of the members of the SEEF board. Several of my fellow SEEF board colleagues are here tonight. We always very much enjoy coming to hear the results of some of these mini grants that we're able to support each year. First, though, I want to thank Sarah. She provides us amazing technical support every year, getting the applications online, organizing other aspects of the data, and put together the slideshow for this evening. Except, okay. She's
Good job,
the
Sarah.
best. As most of you know, SEEF supports a number of ongoing programs in support of students and teachers here in the district, some of which are noted up there on your slide right now. In addition, there are some unanticipated needs that occur each year, which SEEF has been able to help out with from time to time, such as a contribution to the Mustang Marching Band's trip on for the 4th of July parade this year, and support for a middle school's girls' special program that had some funding fall through at the last minute. The mini grant program currently offers grants of up to $500 for groups or individual teachers. Groups of 4 or more teachers can apply for a $20,000 grant. Pardon me. You would love it if it was 20, right? We would too, because that means we would be getting a lot more in donations. Or $1,000 for a school-wide project. This year, SEEF supported a record number of projects, almost doubling the total funds awarded compared to previous years. SEEF's budget has been set, or had been set this year, on the basis of the average of the previous 2 to 3 years. So happily, we were able to find some additional funds so that most of the increased requests could be granted this year. We really thank SUSD employees who support the SEEF programs via the payroll deduction program, which helps to fund mini grants. Proceeds from our annual golf tournament and generous donations from community, individuals, and businesses also contribute to making the mini grants possible. The applications for the 26-27 grant year is now available online, thanks to Sarah. And those applications are due August 15th. So everybody put your heads together this summer and come up with some great new programs. But we're all here to hear about those programs and projects that happened this year. So without any further ado, let's hear from them.
Good evening, Dr. V, members of the board. Thank you so much for being here. Teachers, once you see your slide, shimmy on down quickly and share about your project. If I had been proactive, I would have put mine next, but I did not see that through. So I don't believe anyone from 5th grade at Wrightson is here, but they were able to purchase the following items, assignments and lessons for their 5th graders to extend enrichment opportunities and group them on reteach tasks or skills. So thank you to Steve for that. And then Angela, pause. Nope. All right. And so then at Walden Grove, with the academic decathlon team was able to participate in competitions thanks to the SEEF grant as well. They got 2nd place at regionals, 7th place in state, and 2nd place in online nationals. So congratulations to Walden Grove. And they also got to go to visit the Tucson Museum of Arts and Pima Air and Space Museum with the funding as well. So. Oh yeah, she's next door. Congrats to her. It stopped working. There it is. Okay. Our librarian, Miss Angelica Stover at Wrightson, was able to order more sensory books for the Wrightson Ridge Library. We observed a need for, oh my gosh, how many times can I say need? We noticed the need for books that had sensory opportunities for our students, so we were able to purchase those for our students. Yay, someone's here for this one.
Good evening. This is the Family Resource Center. We have 2 locations. We have Sopery and we have Sahuarita Primary. The Family Resource Center is a place where our families can come and get clothing. They can get non-perishable items, hygiene items, anything that they could possibly need, and it is open to all of our families in the district by appointment or by some open hours on Wednesdays. And so we are able to get racks and some shelving and some bins to help get all of the donations for the families to come and shop. So we are very thankful and grateful, and we greatly appreciate this new district initiative that we had this year, and we look forward to growing our Family Resource Center, the FRC.
What a great acronym, FRC. Just flows.
Good evening, members of the board, wonderful SEAF members, and all of our other SUSD employees. Thank you all so much. Again, this is the fourth year, I believe, that I have been able to be blessed with the mini SEAF grant, and we were allowed this year to purchase some of the newest books that were requested by students. Usually every year I try and take a list of like books that are interesting to students, get things off of Book Talk, anything that has actual interest for our students. This year we actually ended up purging because of the wonderful grants that we've been given. The Walden Grove Library is going to be having a renovation done to it, and we had to end up purging books, and we got rid of 6,232, which have actually all been donated. Several thousand of them were given directly to our students, as well as several teachers. Multiple people took home printer boxes worth of stuff. And what was not given to our staff and students was actually donated to a combination of the Amato Youth Center as well as the Sahuarita Food Bank. So they are giving these books to people who do not or are underserved, and may not have access to the same wonderful resources that we did. Also, a caveat, all the books that were donated had 0 circulation since the school opened in 2011. So I was not giving away new stuff. So the mini SEAF grant has been wonderful in allowing me to purchase new books for our students that are actually going to be interesting to them. And for the next mini SEAF grant, I'm buying for the top 10 YA novels, but actually I have put a caveat on that as well, that they're going to be the award-winning books, because we want to cater a lot towards our AP students, AP Lit and AP Lang books for award-winning books. So this year we filled in some gaps, got in some new interesting novels, and then next year we're going to go for some award winners. So thank you all so much for the money that you have graciously given to my school and my program and all of these wonderful educators here.
Good evening. My name is Lisbeth Lopez, and this is Kelly Strayer. We're here on behalf of the third grade team at Onza Trail.
Good evening to the admin team, the board members, and SEAF. We give them another hand. We would love to thank SEAF for providing a $2,000 grant that gave about 108 third grade students, all the third grade students at our school, a chance to have many fun science and social studies learning experiences. We used the money to have Mr. Meshberger. I don't know if you guys know him. Yep. True rocket scientists come to our school and teach third grades about circuits. And also we got to go to the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. And then yesterday, all the third grades got to go to Arizona History Museum, since that's our standard for the whole year in social studies. So thank you very much. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Danielle King. I am the Onza Trail Choir and Orchestra Director. We were able to get a grant this year, which is really awesome, for our middle school orchestra clinic. So basically, we had an opportunity at the beginning of the year to get all of our middle school orchestra students together and have like a foundational activity workshop. Busy Burke will talk a little bit more about that part a little later. My portion of the money, sorry, talking in front of people. Students are great. So I used my portion of the money to remove some barriers, and we actually paid for all of the students to have lunch. So no financial barriers. All the kids got to come. They all got to eat the same lunch, and we had a record number of students not bringing their lunch. So it was a really awesome event, and thank you, Steve, for giving us the ability to bring all of our students along without any barriers. Thank you.
Thank you to Steve and to for giving to my classroom our STEM program and our MESA program for the last couple of years. This is the second year that I've truly been the MESA sponsor for Wrightston. This year we were fortunate enough and excited that we took 4 different places. We took 3rd place for cybersecurity, 3rd place for NEDC. After some digging, we did not place it all, and we were kind of wondering what happened there. After going through their numbers and crunching and I asked tons of questions. We ended up winning 3rd place. I still think we got gypped. I think we got 2nd place. We were off by like 1.1 points to be able to go to Baltimore, and the kids were going to be able to go to Baltimore and present their stuff there. Still working on fighting on that one. But they did fantastic. Our on-site students took 6th place, and our cargo glider took 6th place as well. So without SEAF, we wouldn't be able to go to these competitions and provide transportation as well. Thank you.
Awesome. That's amazing.
At SIS, they were able to purchase a field trip or funding. They were able to fund a field trip for their 5th graders to go to the Tucson Children's Museum. 107 students were able to go, and they had free lunch as well, which is wonderful. Spooner, come on down.
Hi, everybody, and thank you to SEAF for what you have allowed us to do. Is there a slide after this? This is the AI enhanced one. This is the one that I want to show. So I didn't know they were both going to be up there. It really, I'm getting into the AI enhancement. It really does improve slides. So we created cougar dens throughout our school, and this is a safe space for kids to be in their classrooms. So sometimes kids get a little bit overwhelmed with things going on in the classroom. Sometimes they just need a spot to get away for a few moments and relax and do some deep breathing and maybe have a little cuddle with our little cougar. And this really does help our students with their social and emotional well-being in classrooms, and it's something that they can access independently and learn how to regulate themselves. It comes along with lessons for how to do that, and so we're really teaching students mindfulness and recognizing their feelings, their emotions, and then how to regulate themselves. So thank you very much, Steve.
All right, at SHS, they were able to purchase rug tuffing equipment and materials to allow them to the sculpture program to expand their fiber arts, which is so cool. I don't know if you see those on the Instagram and TikToks, but they are so much fun to watch. Jen Sturzenegger at Wrightson Ridge was able to purchase National Geographic's readers for her ELL students. They were very engaged. At Sopri music program with Miss Christiansen, she was able to purchase bucket drumming kits and mallets for their xylophones. And I didn't realize there was a link there. Are we able to click that, or we can keep going? I believe there's a short video.
This year we were able to purchase. Sopri Music would like to extend a huge thank you for the SEAF mini grant that you gave our school. We are so thankful for all that you do for our schools. and all that you have done for our music program. This year we were able to purchase 5-gallon buckets to do a bucket drumming course, and we were also able to buy the mallets that we needed to be able to use our new xylophones that we were able to get last year. This is going to help so much with our rhythm and melodic segments that we learn every year. Thank you guys so much again, and thank you so much for considering SOPRI for the mini grant.
Awesome. And then, oh, yeah. Thank you. Miss Berry, are you here? No? SPS was then also given, I'm just going to wait till it goes to the next slide. Oh, it's me. Oh, my Lord. How embarrassing. Karen Berry at SPS got books for her library for social and emotional books to be able to help students in those areas in both English and Spanish. Kayla Herrera, our Spanish teacher at Wrights and Ridge, was able to purchase Spanish novels for their students to read books. And oh my gosh, these kids ate them up. They were like chisme, which is gossip. And there was the picture there of the little boy reading, that's my son. And he was talking about how Pedro went to Costa Rica and met this girl, Maria. And then they were like, but do they end up together? And it was great. They were nonstop talking about it. Kirsten Beer? Okay, if you're here, please, I get blind, so hop on up and say, no, Miss Mora, we're good. Okay, they were able to purchase Generation Genius at the Extended Resource in SHS to be able to use engaging videos and DIY experiments, vocabulary words, lesson plans, and worksheets for their students in math. No, not math, science. Miss Mandel, I believe, is here. Yes.
Hello, I'm Laura Mandel, teach second grade at Sahuarita Primary School. Some of the pictures here show some of the math manipulators that I got to get for our classroom. You'll see in the top two right kiddos are some of my special kiddos who really could not engage with our paper and pencil workbook type of engagements. And we got that little beanbag chair kind of just having the calming center, but this little guy liked to just take his Chromebook over there, so I thought that was really cool. And the other little guy was using one of our new math manipulators. I was able to find out that in first grade, he liked using those kinds of things, and we didn't have those in second grade because we had so much paper, pencil, workbook type things. So we got a lot of special hands-on math activities that they could do. And then the rocking chairs, in the bottom right-hand corner, those kiddos like sitting in something other than their regular chair. And the little tent, our class is full of happy campers, so we got the tent for kind of some special times. They can sit and read in there, and you can see by their smiles, they loved that. So that flexible seating allows for student choice and provided collaborative opportunities. So thank you, CEF, and the board for the opportunity.
This is awkward. Okay. Hi. I'm Lisa Sargent Myers. I'm the band director at Sahuarita Middle School. And thanks to CEF, we were able to purchase a set of 15 tuner/metronome devices for our musicians to use, which is a visual aid on one, and it's also aural aid as well, because you can see when they play their instrument, they can see the note, they can learn to fine tune, adjust it, which helps produce their tone and see if they're on the right note. For our percussionists, there's a metronome, which is a device that keeps a steady beat, which you can set it fast or slow depending on the tempo of the music or what they're working on, so they can listen and then work on some of their sticking techniques and some of their rhythm and items like that. But it's just a nice little visual aid for them as they're learning to make their first sounds and, just progress our students as musicians. I do have just a little bit of a sound clip from one of our ensembles that you can kind of hear some of the results.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Steve. We really appreciate for opportunities like that for our developing musicians.
Mr. Sines.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks to the generosity of CEF, we were able to get extra math, which is an online program. Using data, we looked at our math scores and it indicated we needed to do something about our students' math skills, specifically their basic math facts, including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Using the extra math, we targeted those fluency in those operations. We had 100% participation from both grade level classes and our resource classes. And since it's a flexible program, even our intervention groups were able to use it within the small interventions. Overall, we had 99% of our students participate in the program, and we saw some increases in their fluency. But it's also great because now we have valuable data to help us begin the next year with a more focused plan for improvement. So thank you, Steve, for allowing us to use this program.
At Walden Grove, they were able to use this for their PBIS reinforcement program to incentivize and motivate them to get C's or better in their academics and promote real-world decision-making. So thank you to that. Ms. Chapin's here for this one.
Well, good evening to everybody. I am representing ANZA Trail. So one day, Nicole and I, we were talking about how hot the days will get, right? When they are outside in the playground and whatnot. And I told her about the CEF camp because in the past, I have been very blessed. And I told her, why don't you apply for the... So long story short, we did it, and now tons of kids from both playgrounds, because ANSA is divided into two playgrounds, the K2 and the 3-5. They have tons of supplies for them. As you can see, they're playing with hula hoops. They have basketballs, volleyballs. They're even doing internal tournaments with kids, and they have their own team, what I heard. And not only that, but now our aides, well, former aides, I transfer over at SHS, but ANSA is still in my heart. They have fans, they have umbrellas, so they're covered. They deserve that because they are fantastic. So,
Should we play the video before you talk or after?
Hi, I'm Ralph Shirillo. I'm from On to Trail School. I am a math teacher who also highlights a little media class that we do as well. This will be the second year we received the CEF donation, which is instrumental in paying for the software. So one of the things we promoted this year and we tried to push was we had a morning show that we started this year. It was called ATS Today. What we worked on a lot of was not just having your basic, hey, this is what's for lunch, and don't forget we have an assembly next week. What we tried to do was create little segments, kind of like almost like a Good Morning America kind of show, where we would pick certain topics and use that, where the children using the software to edit the videos. We would shoot the videos, put them all together. You had multiple kids. Some kids were photographers and the cameramen. Some people would do talking. You had your actors. You had your directors. We put it all together. We did a bunch of little different things. I tried to put together a little bit of a thank you video just for you guys, just kind of the things that they worked on. And I hope you enjoy it. main teacher did, and she and was one of the segments we used. So again, it really brings out the best in them because you get these, you have these kids that will, that haven't had a great time in middle school and they're always nervous or scared, social, emotional issues, but they really are able to bring themselves. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this. We appreciate it.
Rosa at Sopri was able to purchase a learning wall inspired by evidence of inquiry to help her students with connections and learnings over time. And they've also purchased family engagement packs where they can check out these packs to practice language at home and help their students with language. At Wrights and Ridge, in my CEEF mini grant, I was able to apply as a group, and we purchased all the materials to implement our new house system. We created 8 houses to represent the core values at Wrights and Ridge, and Go Avaoli. We are the House of Leadership, and we were able to purchase little arches for them for the sorting ceremony for them to walk into when they were sorted into their house. We bought little plush animals for each of the houses to represent, the pom-poms on there, the beads for their sorting ceremony. So it was a really great program that we started this year and will continue to implement next year.
Hello, I'm Sarah Dactyl, and some of our speech pathologists in the district applied as a group for our CEEF grant to purchase mid-tech AAC devices for some of our students who are minimally speaking. So there are different levels of augmentative communication, just using picture systems, all the way up to our high-tech iPads that are voice output. So this filled a gap that we had in our district for that mid-level technology. So you can see some of the buttons there, so our students can say yes and no. I'm happy, I'm angry, I want to go home, I want to watch TV. So lots of different types of messages let us know that they need to use the bathroom. And at the end, at the bottom, there are some recordable messages that we can personalize to that particular. So these devices are across our district at every site and fill a huge need to give students a voice. So thank you very much.
Ms. Martz at Wrights and Ridge also applied for a grant to get materials to run the Solutions Reading Fluency program that we do in our Reteach and Enrich class. She was able to purchase folders for every single student and markers and sheet protectors in order for them to do their fluency practice. Stephanie Drew from Copperview was able to buy additional science resources for her 5th grade students. Dr. Ralston was able, oh, you're here, just kidding.
All right, good evening. No, it's not a link. I think it just highlighted it. But anyways, our PBIS rewards, very thankful for the funds from CEEF. Actually, it's a management system. And on the next slide, there's a little picture there. It is an online platform that we use at our school that ties into our core values. And it really has been beneficial for our students. They're really excited to be earning their points. And is there another one? Yeah, sorry. We're trying to show you an example of what the PBIS rewards looks like. So for the students, the teachers recognize students and they earn their points. And really they look forward to shopping later at the Bark store or lunch with a friend, or if they earn enough points, they can be principal in training, which they really like to use the radio. And so it's a lot of fun, but it's just a great way. And the other thing is we also tie in our social emotional learning where students can click on if they're calm, if they're stressed, or they have some anger. And our part of our PBIS program is for a school counselor. They can check in with the student, and it's just a wonderful way. And also, it's actually a great communication tool for our parents because they can use the PBIS Rewards app and find out how many points the students have earned. So thank you so much. It's been a great program in our school. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Sif. On behalf of Sahuarita Middle School, my name is Stephanie Silman. I'm the principal, and thank you for funding for a second year in a row our banners for the SMS front walkway and the walkway along our path to the cafeteria. Last year, we purchased banners for the interior of campus, and this year we were able to purchase the exterior area banners so when people walk up to campus, they know who we are as Jaguars, and it helps support our PBIS culture and our school pride.
At Coverview, Mrs. Fritz was able to purchase various reading literature as well. Yes.
No, my fault. Susie Bjork, I teach at SMS. I'm the orchestra, choir, and co-direct the percussion class. Through the CEF grant, we were able to take all the middle school students, so from Anza, SMS, and Wrightson, over to the auditorium for a day. We had a workshop where we were able to bring in Dr. Nussbaum, who runs the string education program over at the U of A. She came in, she brought in some of her music education students, as well as some other undergrads to work with the students. So she worked with them on stage while they had sectionals that focused on their specific instrument, which allowed beginners to all get the same thing at the same time, and our advanced students to also work on some more technical advancement on their instrument at the same time as well. So it allowed us to do more of a curriculum across the about 170 students that participated that day, and give them all the same information at once to get them going, since we did it, I believe, in September, get them going for the year to be successful. So thank you to CEF for allowing us to do that.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to extend my heartfelt gratitude for honoring this CEF grant. So you can see we've got some kids reading, and I loved seeing all of the people that are putting in grant requests for books. We live in a wonderful, amazing world filled with technology, and these kids are looking at their phones and not really looking at their work all the time. And as a English 4 teacher at high school, I really wanted to get them back to like the roots of what education has meant to them. And so this is a book that was introduced to our high school as part of the senior curriculum several years ago. And we were showing them a PDF, and they were mindlessly scrolling. And it's a book that's illustrated, it's very beautifully done, and it's highly allegorical, so they can read it almost with those fond memories of what it's like to be a kid and to be learning and to be reading for the first time, but also getting deeper messages about the importance of their life and the impact that they can place on their world and what they are looking for. So we did a lot of really great activities. It was all very hands-on, and we worked on teamwork and team building, and the kids actually loved it. I have another colleague was using the PDF, and his students would come over sometimes at lunch, and they were like, can we look at the book? Yeah, you can look at the book. So thank you so much. You might expect to see another grant for some great reading materials again this year. Thank you.
So I'm Terry Bettis from Sahuarita High School. I would like to thank CEF immensely for the ongoing grant program that they've been providing for us, and how many students will benefit from this and future grants. So we did creative cosplay and creative design for our Makerspace group this year. It's a STEAM group: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We got together, we kind of have started doing a annual Maker Faire project together as a group. And so we had a brainstorming session, and the cosplay is kind of about like fantasy and manga and, you know, different characters like that. The kids are all into these games and everything. And I was expecting something like that to be suggested. It was quiet for a second. and one of our seniors actually said, "Why don't we do Tinkerbell?" Because in Makerspace, okay, and we like, that's it. So we did Tinkerbell. So there's a couple of pictures of Tinkerbell there. She was not in totally finished stage at the time of the Maker Faire, and she kind of got a funny little nickname of being creepy. Because her face was kind of creepy when we 3D printed. We used all these different types of things when we worked on our project, and it's kind of fun because everybody just kind of comes together, and they have to work together to get this finished. And if you'll see the necklace up there on the first picture, it's actually keys from a keyboard that spells out Makerspace. So that was the first thing that went on her. So the kids are all excited about how can we make her not creepy next year? And so they want to do different things. Yeah, she's kind of creepy. And that was the face they picked first, and then we ran out of time. You know how that goes, and so on and so forth. So that's what we did with our. And the nice thing is this these materials are going into the future. We did not use everything, and so we have even more kids that can benefit from using these materials, not even necessarily for cosplay, but other makerspace projects as well. So I thank you very much for CEF, and then I also want to thank about the bond. I walked in this morning and my library had a lift in front of the door. Everything was covered in plastic. All the furniture was to one side. So the kids will definitely benefit from this wonderful bond project in our library renovation this year. So if anybody wants to see, I got 3 pictures from this morning. So thank you.
Tiffany Joseph at Copperview also got a grant, and she said not to play the whole thing, but it is a student reading, so if you go back to it, I highly recommend it. Yes, we'll play a couple seconds.
Hello, everybody. Tell me your name, Jakey. Tell everybody your name.
Baby
Jakey. We're going to read a book about cerebral palsy. And that's what you have, right? So we're going to teach people about cerebral palsy today?
Yes.
Okay. Today is National Cerebral Palsy Day. So let's.
Awesome. Thank you. And then, yes, round of applause. That was a great project. Ms. Becerra, who is the ELL, elementary ELL teacher at Wrightson, bought a puppet theater display for her students to practice their reading fluency, oral language, and comprehension. Miss Maureen Hughes, one of our aides in the extended resource program at Wrightson, was able to purchase touchscreen Chromebooks for her students and able to make iReady fun and easier and more engaging. And then Ms. Voorhees is not here from SMS, but she purchased equipment to continue to make art amazing. And I don't know what kind of equipment that is, so sorry, but I'm sure printing press. Thank you. I'm sure it said it somewhere. It did. Yep. Wasn't reading all the way. And then Miss Science at SPS was able to implement the Leaders of Literacy program in her first grade classroom as well in order to help support her students' reading. Phew, we did it. But it was a wonderful year for grants, so thank you so much, CEF, for all the hard work you guys have on the back end. We appreciate you. And thank you so much, board, for your time tonight. We appreciate you and all the things you do for our students and for us as teachers at SUSD. Have a good evening.
Thank you all so much. I don't know about you, but I listened to all those presentations, and I can't help but imagine how the learning and the love of learning were elevated through the collective investment and the pooling of resources, time, talent, to make things better together than we could make them if we just kind of do our own thing. I really think that's the secret sauce, and it's a unique factor in our community. I feel so blessed. Think about this. Art, you saw younger kids, older kids, science, math. I saw orchestra, cosplay, reading, language, technology, speech. All of these things were enriched, hence the term SEEF, enrichment. You're honoring that mission, and the beneficiaries are our students, and they're learning through the tireless dedication of people. I'll tell you, never underestimate the resourcefulness or the creativity of a teacher. If you just provide them the tools, watch out, because great things are going to happen. Thank you all. That made my day. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add a quick thank you also. In seeing SEEF grow
yes,
over the years, the first year we only gave out 3 grants, and seeing the expansion to 26, it's simply amazing to me. The impact is great. Thank you.
One more thing, I'm so sorry. I want to say 4 years ago, I got a SEEF grant to purchase a video switcher. It's a live stream switcher where you can connect cameras to it and switch out the shots on the live stream. And we had never been able to use it at Wrightson until this school year. And so that was another long ago project that was stored away in a shelf that I was able to pull out this year and use for our live stream morning news. We started live streaming every single Tuesday through Friday, 3 camera shot of our morning news. So another shout out to SEEF. It's just the gift that gift that keeps on giving.
Yay.
Thank you.
The next item, excuse me, the next item on our agenda is item B, District Science Curriculum. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bruno. We're always in pursuit of the best instructional resources that we can provide. You may remember that with Mrs. Robinson leading the charge, we proceeded to explore the expansion of adopted curriculum in science. And we've come to the point where process allowed for review of materials. And so this evening I will be recommending approval of these materials. But just to give you some concise details, I'm going to ask Darlene to just kind of provide a concise summary of where we've been so that you know where we are. Darlene.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Valenzuela, all of our board members, our district cabinet, and our guests here today. As you know, we followed a very comprehensive vetting process that began back in the fall of 2024, knowing that this was a need for our district in regards to science. So on behalf of our SUSD Science Adoption Committee, which encompassed stakeholders from parents, community members, to science teachers, administration, special education, like student services personnel, we recommend the formal adoption of Discovery Ed Science Textbook and Pivot Interactives as the district's core K-12 science curriculum. The K-5 will remain the same, we already have that, but 6-8 will have the digital piece with the experience added, so the most updated Discovery Science Textbook. For high school, we will also have the Textbook digital with Pivot, which is something new that we haven't had before. And it will also come with 3 on-site PDs and 4 virtual sessions, and we will begin with, of course, with your final approval. 6th through 8th grade will have PDs on Thursday, July 30th when they come back for school year 26-27. High school will also meet Thursday, July 30th and Friday, July 31st for different timeframes dependent on either the science textbook or the Pivot Interactives. And then our administrators will also be trained on Friday, July 31st. And as you know, this transition moves these high-quality digital tools from supplemental resources, because they've had access at a supplemental level, but to a foundational instructional framework. and that it is aligned with our Arizona academic standards for science, because we are a state that doesn't do next-gen science, utilizing three-dimensional phenomena-based learning to drive instructional consistency, which is really neat. And the resources were all evaluated by us, put up by our Science Adoption Committee in January 29th during the board meeting. I introduced via a presentation just what was available. We had all the resources available in this binder, not only here at the board meeting, but also at the district office. We had one comment, and it was really an inquiry based on the fact that they wanted to know, one of our staff members wanted to know whether or not they would have a read to text option. And please know, yes, indeed, Discovery Ed Science textbook does offer text to speech tool where a student can highlight the text and then click speak text to read the information, which is really neat. So please know that that provides access to all of our students. And as you know, we're going to roll it out with your approval, if that's what you finally what you decide with. The beginning of it will begin in July 1st. We will provide professional development. And again, the efficiency of this modality of curriculum is digital first approach, allows for continuous content updates. So as new information or more updated content is available, it can be uploaded immediately for student and teacher use. It replaces outdated materials because there was some inconsistency from site to site at the high school level, and offers significant cost savings and a high return on our investment because in lieu of traditional print materials or consumables, our Pivot Interactives allows for these online labs that provide the same science inquiry without the tools and the time that cost additional monies to roll out a science experiment or program. So in conclusion, this investment supports SUSD's commitment to excellence and to provide students with great science support and success. And I respectfully request the board's the final approval to proceed if we're able. Thank you so much, Dr. V.
And with that summary, thank you, Darlene. I would recommend approval of the district science curriculum specifically for the secondary level as it was summarized this evening.
You've heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, I do actually. So you just indicated that there's some cost savings because the labs are handled virtually, essentially. So
Correct.
is there also opportunities for those students to participate in hands-on labs where they're actually having to go through and do the work themselves?
So with all of our curriculum, as you know, it's part of our overall adopted curriculum. And this is, I guess, a draft in the event that dependent on whether it gets approved or not. All subjects, we start with our pacing calendar first, so our Beyond Textbooks pacing calendar. That tells you what to teach and when. The how is up to the teacher. However, if we have curriculum that is adopted, like K-8 Ready Classroom for math, CPM for high school credit courses, reading, the different programs for the K2, 3, 5, or 6, 8 grade band. HMH is what we use for social studies from 6th to 12th grade. But Discovery Science will now be one, like our Beyond Textbooks, that will be K-12. There's always room for supplementing what we do, but not supplanting what we do. However, for example, something that I feel is a great return on investment is like if you have a science degree on maybe, I'm going to scale it down to an elementary example, but this is really more for high school, right? So I'm thinking of a common science fair experiment. How long does it take mold to grow on a bread? That was like the stereotypical one back in my day as a student and not necessarily as a teacher. And that would take, the bread and then the time and the revisit, where there could be a time lapse on it where you're still meeting all those science inquiry pieces that we know are good discoveries in science, but you can do it in a much shorter lapse. In addition to that, then you wouldn't need to purchase those items as well because it's part of the virtual piece. That there is a chemistry component to that as well, and as you know, all those materials cost additional pieces. But if we already have something that we can do as a tangible, again, that's up to teacher discretion, but we first start with the PACE calendar, use our curriculum, and if we need to supplement, but not supplant, to really bring a standard to life or to meet the students where they're at. If they're struggling with our first rollout of that standard, then by all means, we trust that our teachers can make those decisions based on their expertise.
Okay, thank
Ms.
you.
And Ms. Reese, just in my love of science and my past life as a secondary science teacher, the way I took your question, and I know how I would maybe have asked it as a science teacher, is do I still get to do the actual dissection and the actual configuration of the electricity circuits and forces in motion? To me, the answer to that is yes, and that's the same across the board because teachers are decision makers. What we're doing through this resource that we previously didn't have at the secondary level is we're adding to the teacher tool belt in terms of
Correct.
resources.
Okay.
Right.
Yes,
Is that fair?
absolutely.
Thank you.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Early Childhood Center. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bruno, members of the board and public. As you know, we are very fortunate to have a high-quality early childhood program here in our district, and it operates as its own unique element of our educational mission, and they're working with our youngest students. And in that spirit, we work to create a congruent and effective calendar that aligns with that. And believe it or not, there's a fair amount of requirement in that regard. So once again, I'll turn it over to Darlene before I make a recommendation and ask her to kind of summarize the key points of the 26-27 school calendar for the Early Childhood Center. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Valenzuela, members of the board. The ECC calendar, as you see before you, aligns with the 2026-27 school year start and end date, so aligns with our K-12 calendar. Special education services are provided 4 days a week, and as you can see, it's coded there as well, except for the first and last weeks of school. A lot of assessments and gathering of resources takes place during that time. And this calendar does also meet 5 days a week of servicing for our special education students. The structure ensures we meet the required 144 days. That's different from our K-12, which is 180 days. And this is part of the requirement for preschool under A-2B, which is minimum annual school days requirement for preschools as required by the school finance manual.
That's it?
Yeah.
Straightforward. And with that, the main takeaway for me is alignment with the overall operation of the other district calendars. As we grow, that's such an important element. And with that, I would recommend approval of the ECC school year calendar for 26-27.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on into new business and look at the revised expenditure budget for 25-26.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno, members of the board and public. As may have been mentioned before, and if not, I'll just mention it again. In accordance to Arizona state law, by May the 15th, we are required to provide a revised budget. I believe well, I should speak for myself, and I hope you would concur. My inference from Lizette's presentation is that even in really challenging times with a lot of uncertainties on many levels, we're all dealing with them in our own scales and the different aspects of our lives, but through a lot of intentionality and professionalism and initiative and resourcefulness and a community effort, our budget is as sound as it can be, and it's in place to help us deliver the mission of student success. So the hearing already having taken place, I will not belabor the point and proceed merely to recommend the approval of the revised 25-26 expenditure budget as it was presented this evening as a hearing with the additional request that the authority be granted to exceed expenditures within the subcategories as long as the total approved budget limit is maintained.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second?
Any questions?
I just have a quick comment. So, and it's absolutely nothing. It's fabulous that we've got a working budget that operates completely in the black all the time. And if you listen to the news, we don't have that across the state. So my one question that I did have in looking as we are sort of moving into a newer season as we sort of progress forward, but can you give us just briefly, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but just sort of an idea of what we would be looking at if we did not have our overrides? And if I've thrown you, I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's a great question. For 25-26 school year, so every year it's based off of our RCL, so our revenue control limit, and that's also a reflection of our enrollment. So if that fluctuates, then yes, our override amount will fluctuate as well. But in general, and when you're looking at this current year budget, if we did not have our maintenance and operation overrides for specific programs that we currently have in our district, that means a total of $6,398,000, so almost $6.4 million out of our regular budget. And that's just for maintenance and override. That's not including our DAA, District Additional Assistance, which is referred to as capital as well. That's $1 million. And so without those resources, I mean, you're looking at a total of almost $7.4 million to our budget. So it is extremely important, and it does help our mission and elevate the level of education that we give to our community and our students.
And that was kind of what I wanted to sort of drive at, is without those dollars, without the investment of our community, we would be in a situation of where we would have very crowded classrooms. We would not have some of the arts programs that we are able to enjoy throughout the district. We wouldn't have some of the services that we're able to provide. And so that's what I wanted to sort of drive home with this, is that our school district, our community has been incredibly supportive, and we are the collective, we absolutely honor that. And I wanted to make sure that we drove that home to where we make sure that as things come up in the future, that we have the ability to replace chillers at Sahuarita High School, that we have the ability to replace water mains that randomly break in the middle of a week, things like that. And so, especially on the DAA side, but again, being able to pay for our professionals who handle our fine arts, who are handling our counseling services, those kinds of things. So really, this is more a shout out to our community and a thank you for your continued support and trust that we're actually doing what we've said we're going to do with the dollars that you've entrusted with us. And just a huge shout out and thank you, because our district would be very different without those funds.
Absolutely. Well said.
With no other questions, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Do we now go to the budget?
That
believe
was
that
the budget.
That was the budget.
Sole source. Okay.
We're on item B.
We're going to move on to item B, 2026, 27, sole source.
Sole source. Yes, sir, Mr. Bruno, members of the board and public, in accordance with state administrative regulations and state board law, certain items that meet a very stringent criteria are allowed by the board to be designated as sole source based on their extraordinary uniqueness and really qualifying for that category, sole source. And so as usual this time of year, you have a list that's been so vetted and deemed to fit the category of sole source. And after your review and consideration of that list, I do recommend approval of the designation of sole source for the next fiscal year.
The recommendation of the motion. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move down to item C, SUSD marquee sign.
Yes, this is kind of an interesting project. I think it really speaks to our continuous quest to grow, develop, get better, and adapt to the changing times. This has the word marquee in it, but it's really kind of a shift toward a little bit newer direction. And what we found is these digitized electric marquee signs. They're nice, but they're very expensive, and they break a lot. They just do. They break pretty frequently, and when they break, they don't look very good if they're just like not working. And they're very proprietary, so there's a niche industry in the repairs, and frankly, sometimes the responsiveness to get them fixed, whether it's because of parts or service or geography or whatever, it's stuff stays like that for a long time. And then if we can get it done, it costs a lot of money, and then things tend to break frequently. So after a collective conversation among our senior staff, we determined that, especially in this era where communication has evolved to a point where, you know, you've got social media and you've got Parent Square, and we've got all of the different ways that we message, and all the schools have their own messaging. Things have changed. And so we're changing the approach to these signs. And instead of continuing to put money repeatedly into them, we're going to convert them into nice, very attractive signage for the different schools, kind of like you see as you drive around here and you see Rancho Sahuarita monuments. And so we're going to convert these into signage. I mean, there's lots of schools in a very close area, and for our guests, so people know where they're going. So this first marquee sign is, I believe, for Wrightson Ridge, Walden Grove, and Copper. And I believe the total price for this GMP is $85,010, and I would recommend your authorization of those dollars at this time.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
Second.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Is this one of the sign marquees you were just saying that kind of ties you next?
These are ones like, for example, think about the one at Walden Grove. Brakes and everything that I just said applies. That thing's been sitting there dark for a very long time. Because Amy nods, who goes there on a regular basis, and so do you. So we're kind of shifting them, and you know that school is a good example. Is very neatly tucked away, a pretty good distance away from them. So it lets people know they're coming, like maybe for graduation, although we won't have it done by this graduation, but hopefully by next year, it'll have a very nice signage that'll be very nicely done. That'll say Walden Grove, you know, home of the Red Bull.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Or do I have a recommendation?
We already
I'm
have a
sorry.
motion. Okay, yeah, we've already got a motion, so we just need to
Well, we'll
vote.
go ahead and vote.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Next item is item D, courtyard and playground.
Yes.
enhancement.
So the teacher in me will say, think back to the beginning of my report where we showed those beautiful visual pictures. And I'm really excited about the summer because this really honors the trust in one of the commitments we made to the community. And that is that we engaged all schools and that, we have different schools, but that every school is going to benefit in different ways. And this is really neat because this summer, we're going to transform the playgrounds through these investments at these 4 schools. And this is, let's see, I have it right here. SPS, Sahuarita Primary School, Sahuarita Intermediate, Link, Beyond Trail School, and Soper. They're going to get these courtyard and or playground structure enhancements. And we were talking a little bit about it at our leadership council meeting today. I heard from some of the principals that just the concept or the rendering or the idea, kids are already excited. They're not even done this year and they're already excited about next year. And so this GMP for that project, and which is scheduled to be done this summer, right, Scott? Is for core construction, and it's for $1,354,330, and I do recommend approval.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Are there any questions?
I just have a comment. It's always the little things that are the big things. I'll never forget kindergarten, which was a long time ago. Like going out to the playground and just, it was incredible. I can still see it in my mind of how amazing our playground was. And that was just like the highlight of our day, was going out there and playing on the playground. So I just want to thank everybody who's involved in this project. It's so super exciting for the kids.
Those things matter, don't they, Mrs. Peter?
Absolutely.
Glad that they got away from those steel slides.
They got a little burnt on the merry-go-rounds that we might have
Relieving part of myself.
died. Yeah.
They're pretty good.
I'm not aging myself at all. Yeah. I was talking about 20.
I know what you're talking about, Mr. Rodriguez.
Ours had nails on them. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is item E, 2026, 2027, IFBs, RFPs, RFOs.
Are those cute? We have the whole alphabet soup there, Mr. Bruno, but basically what I can tell you is that these are items that have already been procured through the normal procurement process, the bids, the opening, and they are awarded they're allowed to be awarded, to be renewed from multiple year awards, year by year. And these are partners, vendor partners that we would like to renew at this time. I would like to point out that in our audience this evening we have Ms. Susie Harris, who's here from Southwest Food Service Excellence. And we have them on the list along with Swaim and Associates for architectural services and core construction, for construction services, Heinfield and Meach for our audit services, and waste management for our trash services. And I would recommend at this time renewal of these already awarded bids specifically for the 26-27 school.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into new business. The 2026 maintenance and operation election.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bruno. And I would ask Amber if she could please pull up my few slides. I'm going to start by referencing what Mrs. Reese mentioned a little while ago about, she asked Mrs. Huey, what would we lose if we didn't have the override? And very quickly she was able to show that it was about $6 million, which then led to a conversation that really is the true impact of what that means. And you kind of alluded to it, Denise, when you talked about programs. This next slide kind of tells you what this means, why this matters, why the local control of our community is such a powerful tool. And you know, historically in America, education has been a local initiative. And I'm grateful that this community takes that duty at the highest level. Because a lot of times you hear from me, and it's truly one of my greatest joys to talk about the successes of our students. Very few things bring me more joy in this job than when I see our students shine. But I want you to think about the fact that this is not coincidence. Denise mentioned the investment of our community and how we are so fortunate, and how I think she said it's a credit to our community. We heard from teachers who go above and beyond out of their way to enrich the education. And through these efforts, we had talked a little bit about some of these facilities. So it's not coincidence, it's intentional community resolve. But look at that stuff. I'm going to go fast because I know we're kind of moving into the latter part of the meeting here. But here in about a couple months, less than a couple months, we're going to be taking 84 members of the Sahuarita High School marching band to the other side of the country on the year that our country is celebrating its 250th birthday. And they're going to march down the streets of Philadelphia where the Declaration of Independence was signed. You heard clapping in the next room as we were going through the meeting as some of the $19 million in scholarships that are earned by this class, which is an all-time record, by the way, are announced. It was mentioned, and I don't mind mentioning it again. The reason that your president, our president, was not here tonight is because his daughter was honored with a nice scholarship. I think it was specifically from the women of Quail Creek. And so they had a banquet. And of course, you know how dedicated John is, but of course, John, you need to be there for your daughter. 17 AP programs. We have 20 dual enrollment programs where kids can earn college and high school credit. Just recently, we learned that the state technical skills test that all CTE has to take, all the districts across the state, and based on the average scores, 7 of our programs, from law and public safety to culinary to construction tech to business management, biotechnology, in the top 20 in the state. You saw Tiffany's video, and you see why she's pretty special. Reading with the little boy about cerebral palsy, kind of just one hint as to why she's the reigning Arizona Teacher of the Year. The guys on the bottom there, what can you say? One of 4 or 5 in the history of Arizona teams that have won 5 consecutive Arizona State wrestling titles. At Walden Grove, talk about legendary. 10 times Arizona State dance champions. The NJROTC, 2 years in a row, have been named Unit of the Year. That's from 4 states, Texas, Arizona, I think Colorado, and Utah. Maybe New Mexico. Maybe I missed New Mexico. 43 of our musicians were honored to be part of the South Central Regional Ensemble. And we talked about the commitment to class size. So I asked Amber to crunch the data. What is the average class size in those elementary grades? 21. That is unbelievable that we're able to maintain that personalization. So my point is, I'm proud of that, but that's us. That we've said these things are important and we're going to invest as a local community to make it happen. Couldn't be prouder, couldn't be more grateful for our intentional efforts. Now, this override, as we said, this is a local investment in things that we said are important. So we'll go on to the next slide. The only thing I want to stress on this is from fiscal year 25, because as you know from the budget cycle, you've all seen the budget, the cycle of the budget, you really don't close the books. It's delayed, it's phased. So this is fiscal 25. These are closed books, done. And that was like what Lizette said, a little over $6 million. But I want to just point out that these are the programs. These are things that we've said as a community for a long time matter. The arts matter. Having counselors to advise kids from the early grades and serving the whole kid, it matters. The physical wellness and physical education matters. Developing leaders matters. Workforce is very important. It matters too. Sports matter. We're about educating the whole child, every child, and giving them as many opportunities to succeed. Program, money. This is very targeted money. It is specifically placed to support these very specific goals. And as you saw in the previous slide, it correlates with the fruit. What's the saying? You reap what you sow. We sow and we reap. And that's what we're talking about here. So this evening, we're going to talk about the renewal of the override. It's been around since the 80s. And I'll pick on him again. Tony can vouch for it. Right, Tony? Been around. And it was last passed in November of 22. The way these work is they are totally good for a period of 7 years, right? Is that 7 total? But if you don't renew it, the last 3 years, 5, 6, and 7, it phases down. And so we're going out this year. It's not a new tax. It's not a new program. It's the same objectives. It's just a renewal of this commitment. So we'll go on to the next page. There's only 4 slides, trust me. Isn't that a great picture? I'm sure that our guy just blew right past that other one and scored a touchdown. But just 3 things that I'd like to mention. One is history and tradition. These are things that our community believes are good education. It's that simple. Number 2, this program is targeted and specific. Those things right there, we've said as a community, and we've said them for many, many years, represent a strong, rigorous, holistic education that define our community values and our community commitment. And then here's the other piece of good news, is that through Lizette's leadership with intentionality and tireless resolve, which I have witnessed firsthand, through responsible payment and management of our debts, and also through our greater community's continued growth, which increases the total assessed valuation and therefore gives everybody a smaller share to achieve the same outcome. This is anticipated, as you can see, we did some pretty specific calculations there. It's expected to go, the tax rate is expected to go down, even with this money, is expected to go down from about 1.5 to about 1.4, the tax rate. That's with all of everything that I just told you about. So A, it's historical. It defines things that we believe are good. 2, it's very targeted, very specific, and it's yielding many fruits in the way of our mission of student success. And 3, the anticipation is that the school-specific tax rate will be stabilized and at the current time go down. Next slide. So with that, and before I make the recommendation, part of that is the recommendation that you also authorize your statement, which will be placed pending your approval in the election pamphlet. So I'd like to read it so that it's in your packet, but publicly so people hear what it says. This ballot measure is not a new tax. It is a continuation of a local contribution to our schools that goes back to the 1980s. These dollars are targeted to support educational programs that are part of a high-quality education. They include K-12 programs in music, physical education, and counseling. This local investment supports middle and high school athletic programs, career and technical education programs, maintenance personnel, and security support staff. The override funds over 100 jobs of highly skilled professionals who provide services to our students. Our students continue to be state and nationally recognized for achievement in many of these programs. These programs have opened doors of opportunity for college success, workforce opportunities, and beyond. Without these local dollars, these programs would not exist or be largely diminished. These targeted investments elevate the opportunities for students, the total value of our homes, and the community's prosperity. Great schools are an investment in education, economic development, workforce investment, and quality of life. It is a win-win proposition for all. We ask for your continuation of this investment without adding a new tax or any anticipated increase in the current school tax rate. Sincerely, the Governing Board, Sahuarita Unified School District number 30. And with that, I recommend this evening your adoption of the resolution ordering the calling of a special budget election, declaring the deadline for pro and con arguments as August 7, 2026 at 5 p.m., and approving the Governing Board's argument in support of the election. And I would just note, the election is in November.
You've heard the recommendation. I'm going to make the motion that we approve.
Second.
Are there any questions, comments? We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And now we'll move down to the consent agenda.
Mr. Bruno, we still have item B under 9, the 2026 Governing
I'm
Board
sorry,
meeting
the board
schedule.
calendar.
You know, all I'm going to say, Mr. Bruno, is I am affirmed in the fact, I serve as the current chairman of a board in the Tucson area, not a school board, a private board of a healthcare organization. And sometimes I do things like that too, so I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Well, I have to say I forgot my glasses.
Oh, well, then at least you have a rational reason.
That's my excuse anyway.
I have none, but I'm glad I'm not alone. So I believe the item that is remaining that Mrs. Reese is referencing is the change of the board meeting calendar, right, Mrs. Reese? And the only reason I know this is because it came about in a conversation. Mrs. Reese is very attentive to such details and always very visionary. She pointed out to me that according to the current calendar, the normally scheduled meeting in September, of which historically we only have one meeting that month, is taking place during the week of the Arizona ASBA School Law Conference, where we're all anticipated to be in Phoenix for that conference. And so the recommendation, the adjustment to the revision, if you will, to the Governing Board's 2026 meeting schedule is that meeting be moved from September, I think it's 9th, down, bless you, Scott, down to September the 23rd of 2026. So that is the recommended revision.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go to the consent agenda.
And now I will say that in your packets, you have a lengthy list of items that fit the criteria for approval under the consent. And I do recommend approval of the consent agenda in its entirety at this point.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor, or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carries. Are there any future agenda items? Our next board meeting will be May 27th on the 2025 here in this room. And the board will be going into executive session. We have to be read into executive session?
I
Yes.
believe
Yes.
so. Do you want me to do that,
Please.
Mr. Bruno? Let me find it on my screen. Okay, executive session, discussion or consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, demotion, dismissal, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of a public officer, appointee, or employee of any public body, except that with the exception of consideration, whoa, missed a line, hang on a second. It's also really small. Okay, with the exception of salary discussions, an officer, appointee, or employee may demand that the discussion or consideration occur at a public meeting. The public body shall provide the officer, appointee, or employee with written notice of the executive session as is appropriate, but not less than 24 hours for the officer, appointee, or employee to determine whether the discussion or consideration should occur at a public meeting.
And this does require a roll call vote.
Governing Board Clerk Anthony Bruno.
Yes, aye.
Governing Board Member Amy Petersmark.
Yes.
Governing Board Member Raul Rodriguez. Yes. Governing Board Member Denise Reese.
Yes.
There is no anticipated further public action by the board. The board is anticipated to just come out to formally adjourn the meeting.
We're adjourned.
No, not adjourned. But we'll adjourn